What do you think of Mysonne calling him a bozo?
I ain't got a problem with it. Like, you know what I mean? I fucks with my son.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you know, if you do bozo shit, like motherfuckers are gonna call you a bozo. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Because, you know, Mice was telling me about, like, for example, when he was going through his court case and stuff like that.
I remember going to trial, facing trial for shit that I didn't do, and sitting there going to court with a suit every day, because my lawyer said, if you come in here looking like you from the street, they're gonna send you to jail, because that's just the reality of the situation.
This guy comes in with a mink on and a bulletproof vest on, you know, with a hat that's got, you know, instructions to cook crack on it. It's like, what are you doing?
But he came to court like that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Troy Ave did
one of his
that.
hearings, yeah. He showed up to court like that.
A hat with instructions to cook crack on it.
Yes. He is going through something he has never experienced in his entire life.
I mean, I know some thug niggas though that like they didn't go to jail because they was moving smart. You know what I mean? But that don't mean they wasn't like some real street motherfuckers either though. You know what I mean? Like some motherfuckers know how to move. Like, you know what I mean? I know dudes that was like selling drugs, but when shit started getting hot, they stopped for a little while and then start back up again. It's the motherfuckers that keep going no matter what.
Yeah, no, my friend Cavario was like this. He grew up in a drug dealer family, and he was taught at an early age how to move. And, you know, he talked about how his point, like a lot of people go into this with the assumption they'll eventually get locked up, so there's sort of a fuck it kind of mentality. His point was, I'm never going to get locked up. I'm going to do everything possible, which means I'm not going to dress flashy. I'm not going to have cars that clearly I can't afford. I'm not going to do various things that's ultimately going to get me locked up.
I used to believe I was going to get locked up. Like, I used to be preparing. I was at the crib working out, like thinking, oh, I'm going. I want to be Diesel when I get there. Like most people get Diesel when they get to jail and then, you know, they start working out and then they come home.
Okay, so what did you get convicted of?
Criminal possession of a weapon.
Okay, and you went to jail?
Well, no.
Probation.
But I got a felony. And
because it was the first time, and
yeah, I had a paid lawyer and all that type of shit, and
so you've never been in prison?
I've been in jail, but not prison.
And how long were you in jail for?
Bullshit,
A couple days. Yeah, me too. Yeah. So you and I both cannot relate to hard time, as we shouldn't.
But I could relate to doing street shit, and I could relate to being smart enough to fucking, like, I feel like I just moved smart. Like, I did plenty of shit that could have got me locked up, but I just moved smart. Like, some motherfuckers move before they think. You know, I think before I move. So I was able to avoid some of the pitfalls that people around me, you know what I mean? Like, I seen all my friends fucking catch sealed indictments and shit like that one time. That's what made me stop fucking around. Like,
and a sealed indictment is what?
When they fucking been watching you for so long that they fucking can just come and grab you and they got all this fucking evidence on you and, you know, you're indicted before you even fucking was arrested type of shit. You understand?
Man, I remember the last time I was locked up in New York. You know, you get locked up in the precinct, right? And then they send you to central booking. So then in central booking, at least in New York, I don't know how it is in other places, you keep getting transferred from cell to cell. It's like you're in this cell and this, so until you eventually
to the court,
to the courtroom, right? So in the course of, you know, that instance, I probably was like in 8 or 9 different cells, right? As you go from cell to cell, you sometimes see the same people, right? So in one of my early cells, I'm speaking to this, like, you know, Spanish kid, and it's like, all right, well, what are you here for? I'm like, suspended license. What about you? Oh man, they raided my house looking for the drugs. They didn't find shit. The dog looking stupid. You know what I'm saying? My lawyer telling me he about to get me out, man. I'm good. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Best of luck. A few hours later, I'm in a cell with him. I walk in, this dude's head is down. I'm like, yo.
I'm getting out.
I'm like, what's good? He's like, lawyer told me they had me on tape, moving kilos. He told me he probably can't do nothing for me. It's just like, wow, things were all good
What
a
a
few hours
difference
ago.
a couple hours makes, right?
Yeah. So, you can feel some type of way when them boys come.
Listen, I ain't down with none of that shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I ain't trying to willingly make myself a slave. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
because
what it is. It's modern day slavery.
Well, it's not even modern day slavery. It's always been slavery.
Right.
When the
like slavery is legal through
prisons.
prisons.
Right. You get what, 7 cents a day?
Something like
I
that.
think something like that to work. And like, I think when I interviewed Boosie, he's like a honey bun costs like 50 cents. So you got to work a whole week to get a honey bun.
Crazy.
In the commissary.
Right.
Like, I don't get that. I personally don't get that. And he also said that when you go to like Louisiana, like
You're in a chain gang.
you're in a chain gang.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like that movie Life, people think,
Yeah.
oh, that's
no.
that's from the 50s.
That's
No,
Florida, that's Louisiana,
that's right
all
now.
All of that.
Someone is on a chain gang as we're speaking right now.
Breaking rocks even.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Chained
You used to see
together.
that in the cartoons. They would be chained with the stripe fucking, they still got those
Right.
stripe
Guy on a
fucking
horse
joints.
with a,
With
a
a
rifle.
shotgun.
Yeah.
Very plantation-esque.
Very much so. Yeah. So back to Troy. I think that my point is that from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to sleep, no matter how brave he presents himself to the world, how arrogant.
Right. He's worried.
Oh, I don't think worry is even the word. I think he's terrified. And mental trauma on a daily basis is, eventually will, fuck you up. Look at Aaron Hernandez.
Well, it's funny. We were talking earlier about like post-traumatic stress
Yeah.
before the interview and all
Yeah.
of that, and how like shit happens in the hood that, a lot of times there are no counselors and shit for that. Like,
No.
you know what I mean? Like, you just got to deal with that shit. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Troy. But
Listen, I don't want nobody going to jail. I don't want nobody killed. And you see what I'm saying? Like,
I've always had a problem,
I don't wish
though.
these things on nobody. Like,
okay, so you mean to tell me that if someone does something heinous to you or your family, you wouldn't want them to go to jail?
listen.
I've always had a problem. I don't wish jail on nobody. I've
Well,
always had a problem. with
Yeah,
that.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody did something to me, I would want justice. Now, is justice jail? I don't know. I want justice, whatever justice means to me. You know what I mean?
Like, for example, this is what came up recently. Steve Stevens, the Cincinnati shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that fucking bastard.
Yeah, the one who walked up to a random old man, asked him a question that
The
he
most
clearly
sucker shit that anybody...
said, "Do you know so and so?" The guy, I don't
I don't know
who
what
that
you're
is.
talking about.
Pulled out a gun, shot him in the head.
Right. Would I wish jail
Well,
on somebody like him?
What came up at that?
I wish death on him.
But what had come up at that point was the camera on 60 Minutes interview, when they asked him, if you had a serial killer living next to you, would you call the police? No, I would move. If after shooting that old man, he went home and you looked at it and you said, "Oh shit, that's my next door neighbor,"
Right.
would you move or would you call the police? Or would you go handle it yourself?
Yeah, see, maybe the third option.
You'd
You know
handle
what
it
I
yourself?
mean? Maybe it depends. Or maybe I'd get somebody to handle it. You see what I'm saying? So my hands don't have to get dirty. I don't know. Or maybe I would call the police. I'm not moving.
I would call you.
I'm not moving. That's what I'm not
saying.
doing. I'm not moving. And you see, like, again, people get it twisted, like, with the snitching and all of that. Like, he's not my Cody. I'm not snitching on him because we're not fucking doing crimes together. I didn't walk up to this man and just shoot him out of the blue. I just happen to know this motherfucker.
Right.
Now, you don't want to be cooperating in certain circumstances, But come on, that shit is crazy. Like what he did right there.
Right. So you would call the police. You would cooperate with the police. You would tell them all the information they need to know in order to.
In that circumstance, probably.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably, yes.
Me too.
I mean, like the motherfucker had a beard. He looked fat. He fucking driving a Ford Fusion. Whatever the fuck. Like, go get that motherfucker. Right. You know what I mean?
I don't want him next door to me.
But at the same time, if I had some sort of community watch, / I don't know, vigilante crew, I might call them motherfuckers. If I had that at my disposal, I might call those motherfuckers too. You see what I'm saying? You call the police because that's your frame of reference of how shit like that gets handled. You understand what I'm saying? And traditionally, they're the ones that are supposed to mete out justice. All I'm saying is, if there was some sort of other justice that I could pick from, then I would pick from that. But I'm not going to just leave this motherfucker running around just because niggas say on the street, oh, you shouldn't fucking snitch. Right. After that motherfucker just did what the fuck he did. Right, because think about it.
Him. He might go shoot your daughter afterwards.
Absolutely.
You know, if he were to shoot a random old man, what's to say he won't shoot your daughter?
What's to say he won't shoot me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, get this motherfucker off the streets. Absolutely. Like, he's a fucking nut.